Hey guys, this is Shiro from Infinite Sack. I'm going to be doing my Enigman Storm Dimension Police deck, or I'm just going to call them the Ultraman deck, because, they look very similar to Ultraman. Okay, so let's start it off. The deck is only from set 4. I'm going to do a second one once set 5 is released, when the two other cards I'm using for the deck comes out. I'll explain the cards right now. In set 5, there's a card called Miracle Beauty. When she stands, she can stand the unit right below her. So her whole row, when she stands, her whole row stands. So it's an extra good shot. And there's another stand trigger that I will be using afterwards. So let's start the deck. So starting Vanguard is Enigman Flow. Similar to Full Bow, when you ride Enigman Ripple, the grade 1, you search for Enigman Wave, the grade 2, from your deck and add it to your hand. When you ride it, he doesn't go into your rear guards, so he's always staying in your soul. Okay, so next is 4 crit triggers, 4 heals, 4 draws, and 4 stands. So right now, because it's only set 4, these are the only triggers you have. Once set 5 shows up, I will be replacing the crit triggers for my stands. Or I might balance it off stands and crits. Or like maybe 6 stands, 2 crits. Just for that random crit factor. So next is 4 Enigman Ripples. The effect is when you play him onto rearguard, you discard a grade 3 and to search for an Enigman Storm. Similar to Blaster Javelin. Let's see, and his secondary Vanguard effect is he gains 2k when Enigman flows in Soul. Cool. Dropping things. Okay, so next is 4 Perfect Guards. 3 didn't have enough for me. I tried 3 before, but it didn't really work out. 4 Cosmo Roars. Effect is, as a rear guard, rest him, choose a Dimension Police, and it gains 2,000 for the turn. 2 Karen Roy Daisies, and 1 Commander Laurel. Commander Laurel's effect is, as a rear guard, when your Dimension Police Vanguard hits, you can rest 4 rear guards and stand the Vanguard. He's basically your tech. Basically when you have like a grade 3 Vanguard and you're deciding to attack with it, and you still have like 4 rear guards left, you can use his effect, and your opponent doesn't guard, because you're supposed to attack the rear guard first. Most of the time they don't guard, so after that, sometimes they guard, sometimes they don't. But when they don't guard, you just use Laurel's effect, rest 4 rear guards, and then stand your Vanguard. So that way you get a secondary drive check. Secondary twin drive. Nice way to gain cards in your hand. That's what I find. Grade 2s. 4 Enigman Waves. The card that you pull out from Flow's effect when Ripple rides onto him. Ugh. And his effect is he gains 1,000 if Ripple's in Soul. And his secondary effect is at the beginning of your attack step. So right before he attacks. If he has 14,000, he gains the ability of when he hits a Vanguard, draw 1 card. Most of the time you don't ever get that effect out unless you're rushing. Next is 4 Masked Police Granders. When he attacks, whenever this unit attacks, doesn't have to hit or whatever, as soon as he makes an attack, your Dimension Police Vanguard gains 2,000. I'll add more details with the deck later on. Next is 3 Cosmo Beak. He's the only unit in your deck that will acquire the Counterblast. His effect is Counterblast 2. When you place into rear guard, Counterblast 2, as I said before, choose one of your Dimension Police unit and it gains 4,000. So if you have like Wave already with Ripple and Soul, he's at 10,000. Cosmo Beak, for an extra 4,000. He's at 14. So if he hits the Vanguard, you draw a card. But most of the time you don't ever get that effect. Or that's what I find. Grade 3 lineup. 4 Enigman Storms. That's the whole point of this deck right now. Your ideal Vanguard is Storm. If you don't ever get Storm, your other option is Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha. Storm's effect is he gains 1,000 if Wave is in Soul. So he's at 11k Vanguard. And at the beginning of the attack step for him, if he has 15,000 attack, he gains 1 extra critical. So basically, the whole setup is having Grandeur out as your rear guard and probably either 2 Grandeurs out on rear guard to gain the boost for Vanguard, or you can use Cosmo Beak's effect to give him the 4k right away. You can also have a Cosmo Roar behind with a Dayusha or any huge hitter on that row, so you just rest him. Your Vanguard gains 2,000, so he's at, let's say, 13 since he's in Soul. And then Grandeur attacks with his row, 15 right there. So 2 crit right there. The idea of this deck is to focus on powering up your Vanguard. The thing is, another tip that works too is, where is he? Okay, so if you have Laurel on the field, and let's just say this is your wrong card. Oh my gosh. This is the field that you kind of want. You want to have either you want Wave and Soul with Storm out, and probably these two or him like this. Something along the lines of these 3 as your rear guards. So Cosmo Roar's effect gives to Storm, then Grandeur attacks, so he's at 15. There are times that you don't, so that way you can just use for a boost. It's a 19. Doesn't really matter. You have the extra crit. They won't let you hit. Let's say if that doesn't happen. Let's just say your row's like this. Just attack with Vanguard like this. It's only 15, but you attack the rear guard, and they let you hit. You just rest these, drive check again, stand him. So basically, okay, so let's just say in this kind of situation, that's my parents. I'm not sure if you heard. Anyways, okay, so basically, let's say you attack like this. He's at 15 with the boost. So 1 damage, you attack the rear guard. They let you hit. You just say you drive check 1 trigger. And the second one is like Cosmo Beak. Let's just go with that. So you apply the effects onto Enigman Storm. Power is now 16 with an extra crit. Rear guard dies. Laurel's effect. Rest these 2. Stand him. So now at the beginning, now it's a new attack step, and at the beginning he is now 16,000 with 1 crit already because of the trigger. Now his own effect activates, so he has another trigger now. So he gets his own critical trigger. So he attacks again. So you're attacking the Vanguard for 16 with 3 crits. They're gonna guard it, of course. So now you still get an extra 2 trap checks. And if you're lucky, you get 2 triggers. 26. That's like 5 damage. Let's just say that happens. Most of the time, I won't say it will happen, but if it does. But what's also good is that if you have stand triggers and you're hoping to use Laurel's effect, you get the stand trigger, you stand him, put the power into Vanguard. Afterwards, the attack goes through, rest that, stand again. So now you have a 20k row with an extra crit. Then you attack again, so you have another hope of getting a 30k shot. So yeah, that's how my deck works. That's how this deck works for me. Or if you don't have Storm, but you still have Wave. If you don't have Storm and you have Wave and Soul, but you only have Dayusha, Dayusha is also good because he only needs 4,000 to gain that extra crit. It's really good. So yeah, that's how the idea of this deck works. I've tried using Commander Laurel. I've tried using Glory Maker instead of Commander Laurel. Glory Maker is good for the high attack and pressure, but I find Laurel's a little more better pressure because you're forcing your opponent to guard the shot, guard the attack, so you don't get a secondary twin drive. And 4 cards is better than 2, right? So, anyways, that is my Dimension Police deck for set 4. Once set 5 shows up, I will be replacing the Dayusha for Miracle Beauty, and maybe a few crit triggers for the new stand triggers. I don't know how the deck will play out, but I will probably test it then. Till then, hope to get the next deck profile for that when it shows up. Thanks a lot for watching. Comment below. Subscribe maybe. Subscribe please. And like us, rate us. Thanks for watching, and this is Shiro. See you later.